this is Katie. Ooh, that was very loud. Wow. Katie, calm down. Actually, never tell a girl to calm down. I don't know why people still do that. Haven't we learned by now? Don't tell a girl to calm down. Hi, this is Katie. Today's gonna be another Q&A Tuesday, and today I'm going to talk about sleeping in my car. And I know, before a lot of you guys click off, I know that I've talked about sleeping, like actually physically sleeping in my car quite a few times, but I'm doing these Q&A videos just as like having a resource, so I can have all of them listed. And so if someone new or someone who's watched just like a few of my videos is curious about like, oh wait, sleeping in her car, she can click on this video, or oh, safety, she can click on the safety video. And so these are more like resource kind of FAQ Q&A videos, okay? Cool. So that's why I have them. I know it's a lot of repeat. I know that even in this video, I'm gonna repeat myself because that's just what I do. And if I repeat myself, it's probably important information. Also, my window's open because it's hot and I'm like on a main road. So just all of those things to say that I'm going to read some of the sleeping in my car questions. I have them on my phone, and let's just get started. So by the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, go follow me. I'm gonna have it right here or somewhere here. Because almost every like Monday or Tuesday, I'll ask you guys which Q&A you want me to record, and there's only gonna be a few left. And this one I did not actually ask you guys because last week I did, and there were quite a few of you guys who did want this one, and so I just figured I'd do this week without re-asking you. But like, so for next week's Q&A, I'm gonna ask you on Instagram. So if you want to have like a vote, if you wanna have a say in next week's Q&A, go follow me on Instagram. Cool, okay. Now let's get started. And so the first question is, and again, I know a lot of these are repeats. I know a lot are repeats, but I want to have them in one place. I'm gonna just stop saying that. Okay, cool. So the first question is, how do you stay at truck stops without drawing attention to yourself? And so I did speak about this in my safety video, but I want to touch upon it here as well, because I do sleep in my car generally at truck stops. Sometimes I sleep in rest areas or other different places, but generally at truck stops. And so I think one of the ways to be safe is to not let other people know that you're in there. And so again, if you want to hear more about the safety aspect of it, I'll put the link right up here to that video that I did. I think it was just last week. But I wanted to talk more about what I specifically do while I'm sleeping in the car so that people do not see me. I do not have my windows tinted. Oh, let me get this out of the way. Let me just get that out of the way, because everyone asks me about my windows. I do not tint my windows for two reasons. First of all, I travel so much throughout the US, and I know that there are different laws and different rules in different states. And so to have my windows legally tinted in every single state, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am wrong, I would not be able to black them out. And so I would maybe be able to get them tinted a little bit, but to go into like part 2 of this, I would still want to cover them, because even if they were completely blacked out, I still would not feel safe. I still would want to cover them. And so I'm gonna cover them anyway. I'm gonna cover them regardless. And so having them tinted just kind of doesn't really make sense to me to spend that money and to do that. So just kind of to generally get into the sleeping. I sleep in my car, I live in my car because I travel so much, right? And so I sleep in the back seat now. I used to only be able to sleep in the front seat because I had so much stuff. But now that I've been able to really get rid of most of my stuff, I'm able to sleep in the back seat, which is like amazing to me. And so some of the things that I have, and again, I'm gonna link to a lot of my other sleeping in my car videos so you guys can see more of like me actually at night getting ready. But so I have a mattress pad that is about like this thick when it's not even blown up, and because it's like a blow up one. And so I have that just laid out in the back seat, and then I have some pillows and I have some blankets. If it's really cold, I will use a 0-degree sleeping bag. And if it's really warm, I'll use like some fans and some like water guns to like spray myself and then like use the fan so it stays cool. But so I have that kind of bed in the back, but then I also hang up, I generally hang up towels like this one. Like I always have like my towels and my t-shirts right on my passenger seat. And so I take the pins that are on my ceiling here, like these, just like regular pins that have like these backings to them, and I take these and I take the t-shirts and I just like pin them in. Like I don't have to clasp them or anything. I just like pin them down with the t-shirt up against the ceiling. I just pin them down because I have a cloth ceiling. I just pin them down, and then I hang up t-shirts covering all of the windows, t-shirts and towels covering all the windows. And then on my front window, I do have one of those like sunscreen things. I don't know what they're called. Those like aluminum foil looking things. I have one for the front window, and then the rest of the windows, well, mostly the back windows, because I feel like the angles that I have when I'm sleeping, you kind of can't see from the front windows, and so I don't fully cover the front windows. I mean, if you really want to, then you absolutely can, but I generally don't fully cover the front windows, just kind of partially. Definitely cover all the back windows with the t-shirts, with these pins, with the towels, and all that. And so let's see what the next question is. So a lot of people actually ask this question. This is a very, very common question, which is, how do I deal with condensation at night? Honestly, So first of all, I never have my windows open. Even if it's too hot or whatever, I don't have my windows open. But condensation, I just kind of never see as a problem. I just honestly don't. And so if you have more specific questions about condensation, like if you've realized that it's been a problem for you, let me know in the comments, but I've just never had a problem. So even if I do have a little bit of condensation on my windows, it's never been a problem. But I do not open my windows. But I know someone who does sleep with his windows open. He has like a little bit of like a cover thing on his windows, but he sleeps with them open, and that's totally cool. And I actually know a girl too will sleep with her windows like a little bit open at night. I just don't feel comfortable doing that, but if you feel comfortable doing that, absolutely do that. It's totally fine, but I just personally don't. Someone asked if I ever use BLM land or I stick with parking lots. And so I never use BLM. Again, it's generally truck stop parking lots, like really, really big gas stations or rest areas. And so no, I've never really used BLM land, like the public land. I've never really used that, no. But again, it's not bad. Like some people do, it's just I haven't. So the next person asked, when it's really windy, does it annoy you because the car must shake? Because they live in a motorhome and they say that it rocks when it's windy. And so I've never really noticed it when it's been windy. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever been in that kind of like excessive wind that it's rocked my car, but it's horrible for me. Again, these are just all my opinions. For me, it is horrible when it's like pouring because it's so loud on the roof that like that will wake me up. But wind, I don't think that I've ever really noticed. And the rain, honestly, has only ever been that bad that it's woken me up just a few times in the middle of the night. But yeah, so I usually I wake up a lot when I sleep anyway, just because that's how I've always been. Whether I'm in a bed, on a couch, inside, outside, in the car, in a tent, wherever, I just generally wake up 3 to 5 times a night, sometimes more, sometimes less, but I just generally wake up a lot when I sleep anyway. So I'm just kind of used to waking up a lot, but yeah, I don't think the wind, I don't think it's ever really woken me up. Oh, it woke me up when I was camping once, like in a tent. Oh my goodness, that was horrible. But I don't think it's ever really done that in a car. How do you get airflow in your car? I feel like it would have to have the windows open. And so again, I don't keep my car on, by the way. When I'm sleeping in the back seat again, I do not put my car on ever unless it's like really, really hot and I want to stay awake for 10 minutes with the air on. But I don't keep it on while I'm sleeping. I personally just don't sleep with the car on and I don't sleep with the windows open. I actually might think about getting something to cover the windows so that if I have them open, people might not really notice and I can get airflow, but it just has not really ever been an issue or a problem for me. And so it's not something that I need to get like immediately. When you stay at a truck stop, this is a great question. When you stay at a truck stop, do you need to check with the manager to make sure it's okay? I have never done that. I have never called ahead to see if I can sleep in a parking lot. And so if you feel comfortable doing that, absolutely do that. But I just never really have, because truck stops to me are for people to rest. And rest areas to me are for when people want to rest. And so I've never checked with the manager, and I've only ever gotten kicked out of a truck stop once. And I know that I actually got a lot of hate on my video where I talked about getting kicked out of a truck stop because like the manager just told me I had to leave. And honestly, like I don't really understand the hate, because the only reason I even talked about that video was because I've slept at truck stops hundreds of times and this was the only time I've ever gotten kicked out. And I knew that a lot of you guys actually wanted to know things like that. Like you really want to know the specifics of if you're allowed to stay here, if you're allowed to stay here. And so I made that video really to just kind of explain that most of the time the people who work there and the police officers in the area are totally okay if people sleep at a truck stop at night, because that's kind of like, it's really, really dangerous to drive when you're sleeping, you know, and so a lot of times people will rest there. And if you're on like a road trip or something, you could, like generally, as far as I have seen with my own personal experience, most places are okay if you sleep there at night in terms of truck stops and rest areas, but there are just some that are not going to be okay with it. But it's kind of a hit or miss, and it's something that you're going to have to try for yourself. But I did get a lot of hate in that video, which was really, really weird, calling me like entitled and stuff. Now I thought that that was really weird because like I'm sleeping in my car generally around other people also sleeping in their car. So I just wanted to clear that up a little bit. And so, was there a hair on me the whole time? I'm very sorry if that was distracting to you. But yeah, so I never asked, but it's never really been a problem except that one time. What's the longest you've continually stayed in your car? So that's a really good question. I don't even honestly really know. Maybe like 2 weeks or so, because I just do have a lot of friends throughout the country. And so sometimes I'll just hang out with them and then just end up staying at their house, or I'll go camping, or I'll stay with one of my family members, something like that. So even if I have a few months where I'm on the road completely, it is kind of likely that even in 1 month I'll have at least a few nights at a friend's house or a family member's house. But it's not because I don't like sleeping in my car. I love sleeping in the car. It's just sometimes like you're hanging out with a friend and it's late and you just kind of end up sleeping on their couch, you know what I mean? Just kind of like if you were visiting a friend from out of town, or if you took like a long drive and you were seeing one of your friends, you just kind of slept on their couch, like because they offered, you know. And I generally don't ask people for a place to stay. I have a few times, but it's very rare. And even I'd say half the time that people ask me if I want to stay at their place, I say no, maybe even more than half. Obviously, when people do offer and I do end up there, I'm very, very appreciative and grateful, but it's not because I don't love sleeping in my car. It's just because like I want to hang out with my friends more. And just sometimes also it's nice to like lie on a couch and watch TV with my friends, you know? So that's why I think that that's great. And also there are a very, very few times where it's really hard to find a place to stay. And so if I do have a friend there and they offer me a place to stay, I'm very appreciative, because some places I just don't feel comfortable staying. But yeah, again, I could have 1 or 2 or 3 weeks in a row where I'm in the car the whole entire time, but then I can also have 3 weeks where I'm just staying at a friend's house the whole time, because again, it's kind of like if you have a friend from visiting out of town, they might just stay at your place, whether they live in their car or their house or whatever it is. And so, yeah, it totally depends. It totally just really, really depends. Someone said, where does one go to the bathroom at night when the stores are closed? I almost always sleep at a place where the store is open 24/7, because just in case. What if I have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night? What if I really, really need a Snickers at 2 a.m.? So I generally sleep at truck stops, gas stations that are 24 hours, or rest areas, and they all have something open with a bathroom and like at least a vending machine, if not more people who are working in there, like as salespeople and cashiers and stuff, all 24 hours, all through the night and everything. So someone said that they saw a Yaris one day, because I live in a Toyota Yaris, and someone said, I couldn't believe how tiny that car was. How do you stay comfortable at night? Is it possible to fold the back seat down to extend your legs into the trunk area? And so, I don't even know if I've ever actually talked about this. I've taken those back seats down, because this is a hatchback, and so I've taken those back seats down, fold them all the way down to see if I could lie like this way into the back seat, and I can't, because those seats do not fold all the way down. They kind of go to like a little bit of an angle, and it would not be comfortable for me. And I also, by the way, do not have any desire to take out the seats in my car. Or like the back seats or the front passenger seat, I have no desire to do that, at least right now, no desire to do that. I am only 5'2½", and so if I lie in the back seat and I push this seat forward this way, I am very comfortable. I can like lay out straight with my legs straight. And if I'm just in the back seat, like I can curl up a little bit and sleep perfectly fine. And so yes, I have tried to bring those down and to sleep that way, but they don't fold all the way down, so it's not comfortable. I'm very comfortable just sleeping like across this way with my legs, sometimes a little bit like angled this way, but then the other times just I'll fold them up a little bit, which I do even in a house sometimes. If I'm in a bed or on a couch, sometimes I'll kind of curl up a little bit. And so it's not much different in the backseat of my car, because I'm small. If you're much taller, you actually might need a bigger car to even be at my level of comfort. But also a lot of people really chase comfort. A lot of people do, and that's completely okay. But I just don't chase comfort as much as other people do. But honestly, sleeping in my car is much more comfortable for me than like a lot of couches and stuff. And so I just stay comfortable, partially because I'm small, partially because again, I fold this forward, and yeah, those don't fold all the way down, so I'm not gonna sleep that way. So someone said, it seems like you must spend a lot of time researching places and mapping them out before you get there to sleep. And I'm sure it's very time consuming. It's honestly not. I have the Pilot/Flying J app, and I have the Loves app. I know there are definitely more like truck stop apps, but yeah, so I use those, and they're really, really convenient of just looking like what truck stops are near you, and or if you have a route that you're going from here to here, you can type in that route and they'll show you what truck stops are on the way, and they'll also show you like their address, obviously, and even how many truck parking spots there are. And kind of my like judgment on that is if there's more than like 80 or so truck parking spots that you'll just see right on that app, then there's probably, and this has worked out for me like 19 times out of 20, actually probably more than that. It's worked out for me almost every single time that if there's about 80 or more, but especially if there's like 150 or more truck parking spaces, there's probably enough car parking spaces. But also if you're looking for rest areas, you can just Google that, honestly. And also you're able to look at Google Maps, which I think someone actually recommended to me, because I didn't do before that, and someone recommended to me. I'm like, oh, that's such a good idea, that you can do like Street View on Google Maps. So if you're about to drive 3 hours, but there's only one truck stop like right around there, and so you really want to make sure that it's probably okay, because again, you never know 100%, but you can know probably that it's okay and that there's enough spaces to sleep, because I never sleep right in front of the store. I usually sleep like closer to the road, or like where there's a lot of parking spaces, not right in front of the store. And so if you do a Google Maps, if you do a Street View, if you type in like the address and you find like the Loves, the Flying J, or the Pilot, or the TA, or whatever it is, and you do the Street View, then you'll be able to see how many parking spaces there are. And if you're really worried about like the no overnight parking, which there's generally none of those signs, but there sometimes are, you know, 2-hour parking or 4-hour parking signs. And so if you're really worried about those, which again, I've slept in those with those signs, and I've almost never had a problem. Again, it just depends on the place. maps. But if you're worried about those, you'll be able to see those on Street View as well. And so Street View Google Maps has actually really been helpful for me. But also it doesn't take up too much time. It just takes like a few minutes every night. If you're going to a different place every night, it just takes a few minutes. And so actually those last few questions are ones I already answered. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I know that a lot of this was repeat, but I just really wanted to have all this information in one video so I can have it as like a Q&A FAQ kind of thing for you guys. So I really hope that you did enjoy it. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please click that little subscribe button and make sure that you click that little bell and click all so you're notified of all my videos. And that's gonna be it. I love you, Jesus loves you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.